sometimes people, sometimes it's little flies. Sometimes people are able to just like come in,
Mm-hmm. I'm gonna.
and then sometimes like I can't. Oh, right. Okay. Yeah. So I'm just like, who's here? Who's not? How do I figure it out? Okay. Let's see. So Bree can't attend, but said hi. So thank you. Oh, I should
Hi,
show.
Bree.
And then introverted black girl. Hi. You're back. And Needy, you're back. And my girl Nikita. Your
Hello.
writing sprints totally fine. You NaNoWriMo your best life. And Michelle, hi. And Gina, welcome back. And my girl Priscilla, hello. And Christina, hello. Bernie, hello. Jersey fam, I love that. Hello. Hi, Regina Renee.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. So we're gonna just we're just gonna wait a few minutes a little bit before we get started. But as you can see, hi Maddie. As you can see, I have a special guest here today. We have Erica. And Erica, why don't you tell the lovely people who already probably all know you who you are on the internet and in the world, if you'd like, and a little bit about yourself.
So I am Erica, and I do have a booktube channel. It is called The Broken Spine. I have a blog as well, which is not as active as I would like it to be, but it's also called The Broken Spine on WordPress. I just graduated with Master's of Education. I cannot teach yet because of COVID, but I'm excited. I'm tutoring right now on Wednesdays, so I'm excited to at least be doing that.
Nice.
And yeah, I think that's about it. I live in the DC area.
Cool. So I have people in DC, and I'm noticing that I'm meeting more people from YouTube who are in DC. So I feel like when this madness is over, there needs to be a DC meetup.
I agree.
I'm developing like a critical mass of DC people.
Yeah, I mean, it's very transient. So we have people from all over, just like everybody, but we are in this area, we just have so many people from all over.
Yeah.
But it's great. And I live near a military base, so that's even more fun. So,
of course, especially now. I mean,
yeah. I feel a little safe, I think. So, being near a military base, but it is what it is.
Sure is. Lots of people are saying congratulations. So
thank you.
Lovely. I have Crowd from DC, Emirates from DC. There needs to be some wonderful.
Yeah. And I didn't know MRA was from DC.
Yeah.
Oh,
yeah. Lots of DC folks. I think. I think so. So where are you, how are you feeling about the OEB slow read? This is number 3, live number 3. How has your reading of Wildseed gone so far, and how are you feeling about the first few chapters?
I'm a fast reader in general. Oh, I should have gotten my wine. I'm sorry.
Okay, fine.
But I'm a fast reader in general, so I have to slow myself down, and that's why I annotate a lot.
Right.
But I am finding I have to go back and reread just to make sure that, not that I'm understanding, but getting like all the nuances that Octavia Butler is writing, because I find her writing, this is only my second book I've read by her, but I find her writing to be very filled with things, whether they're said overtly or it's underscored. It has such a deeper meaning than what we just see on the written page, and it all like comes together. So I'm finding it not a difficult read, but just something that I really have to take my time with and making sure that I'm getting all that she's trying to convey.
Got you.
Yeah.
Greetings, Vernitra. So for those of you who are joining by way of chat, as an intro, where are you at in the book? So what page are you on right now? How much percent have you moved through if you're listening to it over audio or reading it on your Kindle? Where are you at? And what's one word to describe the mood of the moment that you're at right now in the book? And I will confess, I haven't read since our last slow read, and I didn't actually finish the chapter I was on, which was chapter 4. I have 5 more pages left. So I was hoping to be able to do like chapter 5 and chapter 6 and do a clean read, but this week has been wild because things have been happening in the world. So I'm not exactly where I wanted to be. And I say that, I feel bad, but I say that because the whole point of this was to be kind and gentle and to read slowly and luxuriously. So I'll just say that that's fine.
It is fine. I encourage, like when I'm tutoring, I encourage my kids to read slowly and to take it in. And I'm always giving them like pens and pieces of paper so that they can take notes.
Yeah.
I'm an advocate of that. So take your time.
It's I agree with you that I want to make sure that I get everything. I also sometimes I struggle between wanting to just like let the story wash over me versus being very deliberate about the read, right? And so I pulse in and out of those two states. So we have a few chapters. So again, where are you at right now in your reading? What's one word to describe, the mood of the moment that you're in at this particular moment? So Erica, do you feel like, before we get into the actual sprints, do you feel like chatting a little bit about where the plot is at right now and what's happened?
Yeah, we can do that.
Okay. So just for those of you who are watching, part of this slow read is to have an opportunity to talk about it. So there may be spoilers, we're all at sort of different places. So just be aware of that. If you're sensitive to spoilers, this is your spoiler alert because things will be said and that's just how it is. But right now for me, I'm at a place where, what is her? Anyanwu is in a boat with her grandson, I think.
Oh, Conway. I was trying to think of his name.
Yeah, and he's kind of like, the last thing that I remember was that she was trying to explain to him who she was and to remind him of who she was. And I was thinking about the different choices that Doro and Anyanwu make about how they reveal themselves to people and how they reveal what they are. And so Doro seems to like be very kind of manipulative and withholding about who and what he is. You're fine unless you get that.
Okay.
You want to get that?
Oh no, it's my aunt.
Okay. And I feel like Anyanwu is, she doesn't really reveal herself as often. And when she does, it's for a purpose. And when she was revealing herself, I kind of felt like she was doing it because I kind of felt like I felt more comforted that she had a larger plan in place, because so far in the plot, I felt a little bit nervous and uncomfortable about how compliant Anyanwu appears. And I wonder whether she has a larger plan. I'm pretty sure she does, but I have wanted her to be more combative with Doro because Doro is so smug.
Sorry.
Oh, that's fine. So let me just go through some of the words we've got here. So let's go back. So you're in the middle of chapter 5. The mood up to chapter 6, mood is foreboding. Chapter 3, slowly reading. You're curious. Good. Also welcome. 75, feeling suspicious. What page am I on? 62. Woo! Got some suspicion coming up. Haven't read as well. Finished chapter 4, anxious for the well-being of Anyanwu. Oh, chapter 4, but still foreboding. Okay. Hardening. One word, hardening. Dark. Yeah, I know you meant word. 79, dolphins. That's exciting. 71, suspicious. Yeah, there's a couple of suspicious feelings. Oh, your heart breaks from Anyanwu.
Yeah.
Oh, Cade. Hi, Cabe. Oh, I hear you. Okay, I think you were responding introverted black girl about feelings about Anyanwu and her strength and so on. Okay, so why don't we start our first sprint? Unless, is there anything else you want to say at this point?
The only thing from the last sprint that you had talked about was the seed, or was it the last sprint about
what was it?
About the seed being mentioned.
Oh, right. What is a seed?
And I noticed that loneliness is mentioned a lot, and that they are both, to some degree, I feel like they're both lonely, and that they are both kind of using each other to subvert that loneliness, if that makes sense. And I'm wondering how that's going to play out later on, especially with Isaac in the picture now.
Yeah.
So I hope that made sense, because I'm feeling like it didn't.
It did.
Okay.
Yeah, it did. And I think in addition to the theme of loneliness, there's also the theme of community, whether it's voluntary community or forced community or controlled community.
Yeah.
And there are parallels, right? Anyanwu and Doro are similar in a lot of ways in terms of their essence, but they go about how they deal with their loneliness differently. And I wonder if we're going to be asked to sort of see them as parallel at some,
Yeah. That was what I was wondering as well.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. All right. So why don't we start our first sprint? Let's, how about 20 minutes for the first one? Does that work?
Yeah, that works for me.
Okay. So I am going to share, first I'm going to find a 20-minute sprint thingy on the YouTubes, and then 20-minute timer. And then, 20-minute. Oh yes, this is the one I used last time. And share my screen. I'm getting better at this. Very exciting. And Chrome tab. All right. Okay, so we're going to start 20 minutes of reading right now, everyone. So enjoy your reading and see you in 20 minutes. I'm just going to go on mute.
Why is this not? There we go.
So that's sprint number 1. How was your read?
It was, I just started chapter 5.
Oh, me too.
So in my version, this one, I'm on page 74, which is just like 3 pages in. And I just got to the part where Anyanwu asked Doro, "What have you done to them to make them afraid?" On my page 74, and that was like, I just wrote a note. That was my exact question. So, but I don't like Doro, by the way. I find him to be, oh my gosh, he's just, I don't even know how to put it into words other than just to say that he's super manipulative. And but there's more to him, and I haven't quite fleshed it out as to what I don't like, but there's something else there. So, but I love his honesty, at least.
So for those of you in the chat, if you want to report on where you are right now, and again, in a word, instead of maybe, okay, so what page are you on, or where are you at in your reading, and what character right now do you feel the most empathy for? And where I'm at right now, I feel like what I appreciate about this story, and I think I said it in the last chat as well, is that we get to experience the transatlantic slave trade from a different perspective, from a very fantastical perspective. And so, in the background right now, like if you're in chapter 5, like we are on a slave ship, like there are Africans who are in the process of being enslaved, who don't know what's going to happen next. And they are being controlled by an entity in the body of a young Black African man. Like that is what is happening. So I think about like all of the slavery museum type sets I've seen, and and the bodies underneath the deck, and and I feel as though Octavia Butler is introducing elements of the fantastic into that moment, like into those scenes.
Yeah, and what you just said about the bodies at the bottom in the bowels of the ship, she mentions that as well. She gives the description of that, and it's hard to take, actually. Yeah, to have that
I
visual.
feel I haven't gotten to it. I don't know that I've gotten to that part yet. I think there was a brief reference, which might be the one that you're referring to. But I feel I actually feel relieved at her. I feel relieved and released when artists and writers shake up, like they interfere, they disrupt the picture. And so it is not as simple as colonizers and agents of those colonizers. It's now Doro, right? And I'm asked, I feel as though as a reader, I'm asked to measure and assess if that is this any worse, is that any better? What does this all mean? And the patriarchy and the like male domination in this story right now is setting me like I'm having difficulties with how comfortable the narrator is with that state of affairs.
Yeah, in the very beginning, when I was reading it, like the last session, And I was like, wait a minute, she just gave in, Anyanwu just gave in that easily to him. And it's like, no, something's going to happen where she's just going to be like, no, I'm not going to do this, or she's going to stand up. And I'm waiting for that.
Yeah.
And she even says it earlier in the book, how she could not be that stereotypical wife and bow down to the man. And this is exactly what she's doing right now. So I'm having problems, yeah.
Let's see what folks have to say. So, welcome, Chloe. And Chloe, congratulations on a successful first round of the Black SFF Con. Yay!
Yay!
Hi, Denise. Hi, Sarah. Yeah, I like Anyanwu as well. Halfway through 4, just past when she was healing herself from seasickness. That was pretty cool.
Oh.
I love how she heals and how Octavia Butler takes us step by step through the way that she heals. It actually reminds me of the way that the Owen Collie in Lilith's Brood, how by like licking things, you know, they're able to, or not the Owen Collie, but like the hybrid between the Owen Collie and the human, how I forget his name, but he had to lick things in order to understand them. So he would like lick plants, lick the ground, lick anything, lick toxins and poisons and all these things in order to understand their nature and to harmonize them within himself. So very cool. Halfway through chapter 5, you feel the most empathy for the enslaved Africans. Yeah, the enslaved Africans. You feel sorry for Anyanwu. She felt more connected with the dolphins than with humans. Yeah, I have to get to the I love dolphins, so I'm so ready for these dolphins to show up. Empathy for anyone other than I hear you.
That's fair.
Yeah. Page 56, most for Anyanwu's descendants. Yeah. At least she has some agency with her abilities. I hear you, Priscilla. I feel for Anyanwu. Not quite sure about Doro. Where's he coming from? Yeah, I don't even know. Okoye, Anyanwu's grandson. I too would be freaking out if I just met this human who's my grandma that's a shapeshifter. Fair. And who connects with Doro, who's this whole no lies detected, Cabe. None. Severe motion sickness. I would love this power verse. Yes. 100%. Okay. Any last thoughts before we do our next sprint?
No, I don't want to get too far ahead of myself in my thought process because I have some thoughts. And I want to see how it plays out in the next couple of pages, if it does.
Okay. All right, fingers crossed. All right. Yeah. So let's do another 20 minutes.
Okay.
I'm going to mute my mic and we will Okay. Oops. Go. All right. I'm on page 82 of this version.
I didn't get very far. I was laughing and joking with my dad.
Oh, that's nice. Hi, Dad. Yeah, I actually have that version of the book. I should grab it so I can know. What page are you on now?
I am on page 76.
I don't know if they're paginated the same way. Let's find out.
I don't.
I mean, yeah, they're not. Wait, you're on page 76?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, wow. It's very different. Yeah.
Oh, really?
I was surprised. I thought, oh, that's interesting. Okay. So let's just see. Okay, so first of all, special announcement, Musical Tati, who is one of the three hosts for the OEB Slow Read, is in the chats. Hello. Tati is my reading twin, soul sister, and all the things. Nice to see you, sis. You're not reading, but the comments, yes. I have harsh feelings about Doro. Doro is like the gift that keeps on taking. Oh my gosh.
That is true.
He's just it's the smugness, the self-assured. He reminds me, should I say this on the YouTubes? He reminds me of like older Black men in particular who are seen as like the elders in community, but everybody knows they're trash. Like everybody knows they do the worst things to everybody, but they just keep on getting worshipped and like installed, and they become this and that, and they have 15 names, and people just like bow down, although everybody knows they're trash. That is Doro.
Yeah.
Well, and all the magical powers
that they lack. But yeah, I agree with you. I mean, I have never, actually, that's not true. I was going to say I've never read a character like him, but every time he comes up, I just kind of get a visceral reaction when his name is mentioned. So
it's like if he were, go ahead.
No, go ahead.
If he were human, I would just say he's just such a sociopath, right?
Yes.
So, but he's not. And yeah, it's just, ugh.
And and so far, I mean, since I'm not very far, chapter 5, I'm wondering what, because he said something about, or there's a storm, and Anyanwu observed he and Isaac and some other guys just standing around, and then she discovers that they're his sons. And I'm wondering how many people on this ship.
All of them. Nasty. So gross.
Yeah.
I just can't, like, all the ways that this kid, Tommy's like, I can see Tommy's face. She's like, calm down. But like, keep going. She's like, keep going. Thanks, babe. Like he's the worst of everything. And then the seed villages, it even like is just even more gross to me now.
I always, and when I first read the whole thing about the seed villages and then found out that he had all these kids hanging out there, the one thing I thought about was the guy in the neighborhood who has been with this girl, that girl, and had this kid and that kid, and does not take care of any of them.
And I feel like it's what is Octavia Estelle Butler doing to us? What is the purpose? So this is the question, since we're all well, not all, but since we're having a conversation about Doro, this is a question for the chats too. Why have we been given Doro? Like, what is Doro's purpose? Like, what is Doro's narrative purpose? What's the purpose? You know what I mean?
Yeah. And I've been trying to figure that out. Is it to bring something out of Anyanwu? Like, is he, I was about to say doppelganger, but that is the incorrect word.
But the inverse, like, is he her,
Yeah.
her whatever that is?
Yeah. The
other,
the other thing. Yeah. Is he that?
Nemesis? Is that it?
Is he what?
Nemesis? Is that the thing? You're like, you're other, you're opposite, you're like cosmic opposite.
Kind of, yeah. What is he to her that's going to bring something out of her? Because he says at some point that this is a dangerous time for her.
Yeah.
So, yes, she's leaving what she's left behind, but there's something more to this being a dangerous time for her that he knows a little more about, or he's hypothesizing. And I don't know. I just find him a despicable non-human being. So whatever he is.
He's just, I don't know.
He's,
I am really excited though that we get to, let's see, what else is there? I'm glad we get to see like some of Anyanwu's. Well, I've gotten to a part where I've been able to see some of Anyanwu's ferocity. So, you're so scandalized. He's just the worst. Not that it's bad to screw everybody, but like non-consensually in like all of these awful ways for awful reasons. He's just, yeah. So you know what? Like, Priscilla, have you read Gods of Jade and Shadows? I'm wondering if anybody has read this, because not that Doro and the god, what is his name in the Gods of Jade and Shadow, not that they're the same character, but I'm thinking about like other characters that I've encountered who are like, who have like dark killing energies, right? So like, let's assume that, because I feel like Doro, what we're seeing of Doro is not necessarily his essence. I think what we're seeing is what he's doing with his particular essence, because there's nothing wrong with being dark. There's nothing wrong with having an orientation toward killing and death. It's what you do with that orientation toward killing and death. So I think of like the 100,000 Kingdoms, like the Broken Kingdoms trilogy by N.K. Jemisin, where you have Nahadoth, who is like a death god, right? And it's like, it's his thing, like he's darkness, right? He's all of those things, and he's got this like wild killing rage that just doesn't see emotions or anything like that. We have him, and then we have like, I mean, I don't know the folklore very well in terms of like Mexican deities, but in Gods of Jade and Shadow, we have this like god that also has that is quite dark, right? And isn't as engaged with like human life, right? And I just think of all of the different directions that entities like that could turn. Also in Tananarivu's African immortals, there's also like they're vampires, but they don't give anything for like human life, but they also make choices. So it's not like Doro has to be what he doesn't have to express his nature the way he's doing it, but he's making a choice to do so. And I feel like that's the thing that I find most disgusting about it, you know?
Yeah. And like what Anyanwu said when he killed a little boy. Like, why did you do that? You didn't have to do that.
Yeah.
And he's like, well, I had to teach this guy a lesson, but now he's wearing his skin. So what lesson? I mean, really, what lesson did you teach him?
No, you just wanted his skin. That's just
Yeah. So why? And it was a very valid point that
Yeah.
Anyanwu made. You didn't have to kill him in order to take the guy's skin.
Yeah.
So he does. I'm trying to figure out why he does what he does, and I don't know that I will, or I will have a good answer for it.
Not that I want to get into it, but I feel as though the way that I'm describing Doro could also be used to describe somebody else who's a public figure right now in the world. So I'm just reflecting on Octavia E. Butler's prophetic wisdom once again.
Yeah, I thought about that while I was reading this.
Like, who else could these adjectives be applied to? Yes, he's so controlling. Ugh. Twins by, oh my God. You're so scandalized by his sex life. Here we are talking about, like, he kills with abandon. He's like, and he also has all these kids. I'm not sure if he's watching us, but what bothers me is his extreme maleness, his dominance, his need to control, to breed. And you know what? And I feel like, again, and I do think that this is, is it this book? There's one description. I don't know where it is, but there's one description that's like, Anyanwu is like the essence of femininity, and Doro is the essence of maleness, and together they, sun and moon and dark and light. I'm not sure which description, because each book has a different description, but I've been thinking about this idea, and like Octavia Butler, her work could have done a lot better with like challenging the gender binary with humans, not just not non-humans, but actually like human people who like live and breathe like us, who are neither male nor female, or a combination, or not even on that spectrum necessarily. She could have done a better job for sure, and she recognized that in her like musings about her work. But I just feel like we're getting so much dude energy, like negative dude energy in Doro. I find myself overwhelmed by it, and I want that to be broken up a little bit, because I fear that if that doesn't get broken up, Doro's going to just fall flat for me as a villain, and that will be irritating.
I can see that. And to be honest, I hadn't thought about all of the maleness, the extreme maleness. I thought about the male dominance and the need to control and breed, but for some reason I didn't. I guess that's because I live in a cisgendered world, in my little microcosm over here, that I hadn't thought about that. All of the maleness, but that's a good point.
And I don't know that male, I wonder if I use the word maleness, and I'm wondering, that's not quite the word that's capturing what I'm trying to talk about, because it's not so much maleness necessarily, but it's these qualities that are associated with the toxic masculine, right?
Yeah.
Like, that is what it is, right? It's the toxic masculine. It's not the fact of Doro being male, right, or being a man, but it's the toxic masculinity.
And it is very, for such a short period of time, and it's very toxic.
Yeah.
Relationships, are quite toxic as well.
So Kate brings up a really interesting question here about the narrator. So I'm so over the narrator too. At one point they were like, there was kindness on the ship. And I was like, where though? Because then began the just listing basic human rights. So, I liked always asking the question, is the narrator trustworthy? So that's a question I'm going to ask in the chats. Is this narrator a trustworthy narrator? Do you trust their point of view? Yes or no, or maybe so. So I think in this circumstance, the narrator seems to have little empathy for Anyanwu in the way that the story is told.
Yeah.
And so as a result of that, I don't particularly trust the narrator's read of things. But it's a good point you raise, because you don't take narrators for granted, right? And sometimes I think some of the best writers provide us with untrustworthy narrators for the purpose of like exposing us, right, to the themes in the novel. And so we're offered this narrator that is very fine with Doro. Like the narrator is fine. Like there's nothing.
There's nothing he can do wrong.
No, the narrator likes Doro and thinks that he's normal.
I don't know how that can be possible, but okay.
Well, it's been a week. So no, I have to stop. No change. They got food, no fee. Yeah, it's true. Yeah, totally, completely.
I also got blankets.
Yeah. And like they got to go up on land, and they could be like in the breeze when it's hot, and like in the warmth when it's cold. So this is life. This is like a cruise. It was pretty much a transatlantic cruise ship.
Yep.
Doro is Anyanwu's antithesis. It wasn't dangerous for her before he got there. Yep.
And Doro I feel he's definitely going to become dangerous towards Anyanwu at some point.
I don't like it when he says stuff like, I hope that I don't have to kill her now.
Yeah.
Because like she's so useful. Her Wildseed is just so useful.
And that was another thing that bothered me about this is that he is constantly saying she's going to be useful. And I can't wait. Like he didn't say I can't wait, but basically I can't wait to use her the way that I want to in order to get what I want.
I feel like he does say that. I feel like I've read that, and maybe you haven't come across it as yet based on where you are, but there's an exchange between him and Isaac. And it gets close at least.
Yeah, because I know he says to Isaac, that's the part where I saw where he says to Isaac that you can have her, kind of like when I'm dumb. So I'm like, okay, that's great.
I'm just gonna move this. Oh yes, so this is Hankame, right? Got you. Doro's acting like Thanos. Oh, I didn't think about Thanos, but that's an interesting comparison as well. Like the indifference to humanity and the planet and the desire for this harmony, right? Because like at least in the last Avengers, we see this side of Thanos who desires peace, and for him, peace is like wiping out most people, right?
Yeah.
Girl. Okay. Yeah. Hunkame had his moments for sure. And Yanu need to cut off.
Well, we gotta solve the problem.
Yes, it is going to be. Our discussion on the 29th is going to be great. I was worried that like by having these chats that we would sort of talk ourselves out of it, but I'm so ready for the big one. You feel like you're looking for a redemption arc with Doro, but it feels like forgiveness is too far gone. Needy, I appreciate your altruism. We shall see. Yeah.
Completely sarcastic.
Interesting. Like you mean the narration? Tati? Yeah, Cabe, you let me know if you want to like do one of these chats and be a guest, because I would love your take on the gender stuff, and like the sub narratives around gender and masculinity and femininity and all of that. And I think that that's a conversation I would I want to have, you know.
I think that would be a good conversation
Yeah.
to have, because
Yeah.
I didn't pick up on it until Cape said something.
Yeah. And it needs to be a conversation where cisgender identity is not central, right? And you and I both identify as cis, and I'm just aware that that my opinion, your opinion on the gender issue needs to be peripheral, right? Like,
right.
And so consider that your invitation, Cabe. Oh my God. Oh, Tati. Yep. Yeah, I want to know his true form. He's like, you don't want to know. We're like, yo, we actually want to know. We can take it, because this form ain't on. So,
because he keeps saying, you don't want to know my true form.
Yeah.
But yet he got to see Anyanwu's true form.
Okay, well, Tati, hold it together. Hold it together, my friend. See, but I feel like we're under us. Like, I'm hoping for it to flip out. Yeah. So one of the descriptions of this book says that Anyanwu is the only one who can kill Doro. So I feel like Doro is underestimating her, and I want to feel like it would be inconsistent with Octavia Butler's body of work to have like a weak ass female character who can't kill the ultimate toxic masculine.
Like, well, he even says that Doro even says to Isaac that she could kill Isaac.
Yeah.
So not to underestimate her.
Yeah. I like this comment. I also wonder how horrible Doro was with other humans, because Anyanwu is the closest to his equals. So is he actually being as kind as he can be?
That's a good question.
Yeah, that is a good question. What do you think? What do you think, Erica?
I don't think that he is being. I think he's being as kind as he can be, as kind as he knows how to be. Because he had his first death when he was 13. And then from there, he's had nothing but, I don't want to say bad experiences, but I think he hasn't learned that way of being kind and how to deal appropriately with people. Hence all the manipulation.
Right.
Which is a classic 13-year-old move.
Got you. Yeah, same. I don't know. I don't know about this Fallen. Hey, Bree, you're back.
Hey, Bree.
Hey. Okay, we've gone. I don't know these things.
I know Ricochet.
I love it though. Yay! It's a We Love Bree party. Congratulations on the Black Queen.
Yeah, that
was amazing. Ooh, maybe she can become him. Okay, I forgot the question. All right, friends. So we have half an hour. Yeah. That was a good one. We have half an hour before we end, like that we're scheduled to end. So how about a nice juicy 30-minute stroll sprint situation? Does that sound good?
Sounds fine.
Okay. All right. Okay. Let's see. I can totally hear you singing that, Tati. Yes, it is. Okay, let's see. 30-minute timer. Okay. Share the screen. Let's see if Doro gets redeemed in this next 30 minutes.
I doubt it. I feel like he's digging his.
All righty. Okay, everyone, happy reading. And 30 minutes start. Oh, I hate Doro.
Oh, yeah.
My hatred for Doro is vibrant. It's like undulating. Okay, let's just see what people are saying. Thank you. That song creeps me out. LOL. Doubtful. Good luck. Fallen dolphins. Why she gives us this like great dolphin scene and then bloops. All right, where are you at now?
So I just got to where she's swimming with the dolphins.
Oh, nice.
So I just got there. And I
I had to take a breath.
yeah. So I think it's a really I like the scene. I mean, she gets to escape him, but she hasn't escaped him. She wants to swim with the fishes.
Yeah.
But oh, yeah, Doro is such a problematic character.
Yeah, he's a asshole. Have you ever swam with dolphins?
I have.
In the wild
Captivity,
or in captivity?
unfortunately.
It
was fun. And I mean, you still have to be very careful with them, but it was fun.
Yeah. Yeah, I've swam with dolphins in the wild, and I've done it twice, I think. And the first time that I did it, there was a baby dolphin that swam around me, and there's something about like being chosen, like when dolphins are just like, yeah, that one's cool. We'll swim over there, right? Because in the wild, they swim faster than boats, so they don't need you. If a dolphin approaches you in the wild, it's because it's curious. And so when you're there and you notice that a dolphin has like joined you, it's fascinating, and it's yeah. So that definitely reminded me of that time. Dolphins are pretty cool. Octavia Butler. I have so many questions.
I wonder what she would have to say today about Doro. I'm just curious, knowing how things have changed societal-wise, and with more women taking on the traditional masculine role.
Yeah, I know that she talked about feeling like she didn't, and I don't know where this is, and I need to find it. But I have this book called Luminescent Threads, and then there's also Strange Matings, and now I know where the name of that book came from. But she does talk about the way that she addressed gender and sexual orientation. And I want to revisit it now that I'm spending more time with Wildseed. Because I know that it's in a lot of her stories, women have qualities that were traditionally associated with masculinity, whether it's leadership, extra strength, and so on. And she does talk somewhere about wanting to make that a deliberate choice. So yeah,
and
it's definitely something I want to explore more.
Most sci-fi fantasy writers, so far ahead of what we can imagine, and I love it.
Yeah.
No more. Yeah.
Yes. Yeah, I like that. Yeah. Oh, cool. All right. Okay. So, I am thinking we're at the 2-hour mark, and it is a Friday. So as much as I'm tempted to spend more time, I am not going to. Do you have any final thoughts or observations?
I just want to say this one thing, how Doro tried to manipulate her and into not doing it by saying, "Did you eat a leopard? Was it a leopard? Whatever it was." To become one.
Yeah,
and
to become
how
one.
he's just this manipulative, disgusting force in here, and he manipulates everyone around him. That's all I have to say about Doro right now, because
Yeah. In that moment, I was like, sis, don't tell him your secrets. Don't tell him how you do things. He don't need to know. He wants to use you.
yeah,
Lie. Right? So like that's how I was at that moment. And I'm just like, Anyanwu, like, you know his game. We all know what this is about. So anyway, we'll see. But I do hope that she finds out her strengths and her advantage and so on in relation to him and others. So that's pretty cool. So the next date for the slow read has us starting book 2. Now, book 1 was called Covenant, and I was really curious about why it was called Covenant and what that might signify. And maybe when we start the next read, we can talk about that. Hopefully people will have completed book 1, and then we can sort of explore the names for each of the books and each of the movements. Chapter 6 is a really long one, and I haven't started yet. So if I'm going to sort of keep up, I should, with my own damn schedule, I should probably read that. So maybe I'll have a better idea about that. But there is something about like the whole Noah's Ark and, collecting certain animals and having them on the boat and a big old storm and somebody parting the waters. Like they're like big biblical imagery here, preserving and then having enough people who have unique skills so that combined you can recreate another world. So there's, I'm seeing what she's given us.
And that was one of the things that I noticed, like with Isaac, I said it, I think in the last chat, something about, I felt like the seed villages was kind of like a biblical thing.
Yeah, you said that.
And as I'm reading, I'm seeing all of these biblical or Christian references, including Isaac.
Yeah.
So,
yeah.
I'm just, because he's one of the 12 tribes? I should know this. My dad's a minister. I should know this.
Oh, I have questions.
Yeah. So, I'm just wondering how she's going to carry this.
Yeah, me too. All right. Well, everyone, that brings us to the close of the 3rd Slow Read live session. Thank you very much, everybody, for joining and for reading. There are lots of different ways that you can communicate with the hosts and other readers. So like one way that you can do that is on Instagram, where there will be opportunities to like post where you're reading, your annotations, find buddies for reading. Then of course there's Twitter. And then definitely make sure that you're subscribed to Sister Sci-Fi so you can find out about events that Sister Sci-Fi runs. And then these slow reading sessions are also ways to connect. If you haven't yet purchased your ticket for we're not charging you for anything. But if you haven't yet registered for the slow read on November 29th, please make sure you do that. Coughing into my arm. Because that way you'll be on our mailing list and you'll find out about any other opportunities we have to connect. So I would like to thank you very much, Erica.
Thank you.
Yeah, for being a guest and for spending some time reading. Obviously, everybody, please go check out The Broken Spine. Erica didn't mention this at the top, but Erica is also one of a group of people who has a book club. And what is the name of your book club? I know that you read like Afrofuturism, I think.
It's Black Future Book Club with Shane at Luxurious Blue and Wendy from Book Nerd TV.
Awesome. So I think you should check them out as well and find them in the Twitterverse. I'm sure that if you go to Erica's videos, you will see in the description box links to that, to the book club as well. Do you have any reads or anything coming up soon?
We are.
Yes.
November 15th is our next live. And it is going to be.
Is it Canaan do's My Soul to Keep?
Oh no, that's with Bree from Lock Booktition, actually, and Chloe. So Black Future Book Club is doing Sister Outsider.
Right. Okay.
On November 15th at what time is it? 2 p.m. Eastern Standard Time.
We'll go with that.
But there'll be a notice coming out soon for it.
Great.
Yeah.
All right, everyone. Yes, thank you for subscribing to Erica's channel. Please.
Oh, thank you. I didn't see that.
And thank you, everybody, for your thank yous. And of course, if you're interested in being a guest, as you can see, hopefully it's low stress, just very comfy, cozy, read a thing, talk about a thing.
It is.
Have a beverage. Thank you, Erica, for that. I'm
always nervous for these things. So.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. So
well, this was fun. We're trying to keep it easy. So if anybody in the chat is interested in being a guest, I mean, we have until 2022. We will be reading all the time. So please just, you can let me know by sending an email to onyxpages.booktube@gmail.com. You can also respond to any of the emails that we send out from the OEB Slow Read Eventbrite email address, or find us on social media. All right, everyone, have a wonderful weekend. Stay safe, stay patient, hug your people, reach out if you need support, drink your water, all the things.
All right.
All right.
Bye.
Bye.